or should, and start laying my leaves on there. And I usually break out of the boundaries because, you know, that's me. But it also is a nice design feature. When you have a border, it gives people a nice sense of security. They know where their edges are. When you break out of that border, now there's possibility. There's a little freedom, a little escape. Between the two of them, that's usually a very satisfying design concept, just FYI. It makes both kinds of people happy. Your crazy rule breakers can feel free, and your need to be contained folks can feel less frightened. So it's all good. And nothing wrong with either type, so it's all good. Rule breakers are better. Oh, sorry, no. Okay, so I'm just starting to do is put a couple of slices down there. And now I've done my other color green, and I'm doing a couple slices here. And you can overlap, because this can be very sculptural. Not only did Tiffany do it that way, so we already know that in real stained glass that is an option. But since we don't really care, and we're playing with polymer, so we get to do whatever we want, it looks good. So you see how I'm just trying to make an arrangement that seems fun. You can just stack them all along the bottom if that makes you happy, but sometimes a little bit of overlapping creates some depth, creates a little bit of more sophisticated naturalism, which can be good. Now, once you started making your cluster and you get to the stage where you want to start putting some leaves on there, what I did is, like, let's say I go, okay, well, I'm done with this green now. I don't need as much of that anymore. I'll put a little bit aside, and I'll take what's left, and I'm just going to flatten it. Flatten, flatten, flatten. Because I'm going to make a stem. And that gives me a piece that's already wrapped around with black. So if I cut that, you see how you've got your little stem in there? Ain't that clever? I'm so excited. Mm-hmm. Wiggly bits. I know, some days are good. It's like, oh, that will work. Ah! Other days, okay, so I'm going to cut a little sliver of that. And then I'm going to use my tool to kind of help me lay that into place. Because sometimes these little ones are hard to manipulate. So I usually just kind of help it along with my tool so I can flatten it in where I want it to go. And make sure it's got a nice proper curve to it. So see how that looks like it needs chiropractic help? So I'm going to just kind of play with that a little bit. So it's got a more of a little gentle curve to it. Okay, so now I've got a stem. That looks reasonable. Tuck it in where it goes there. So see what we've got? A little stem there. And you can make as many or as few. You can have one giant daisy in the middle. I'm fine with that. Or a whole just breeze-ridden field of whatever amuses you. So now I'm going to go grab some. I had purple. So I'm going to take this cane, and I'm going to keep a big one in case I need a big, and I'm going to start manipulating this one smaller. You can roll it. Normally you wouldn't do that with a cane, but these are ding-dong canes, so you can do that all day long if you want. Or you can pull it. Usually when I get about 2 or 3 inches of cane, I cut it, so I only have a smaller one to play with, because it gets out of control otherwise. And I get rid of these extra bits because they mess me up. I think I've got more, and then there's nothing there. It's like, ah. So now I'm going to just take this and pinch down one side, because that's how you make a teardrop, as you can see. So you just pinched it, now you have your little one side. Pinch down there. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. Now this one, all I did is I took a couple of petals and sort of angled them up and